Good evening and welcome to part one of what I hope is a very special video series. So like I mentioned in the last video, what we're doing this week is something I've been wanting to do for a while. We are upgrading my personal PC, which I named Roach. This is technically Roach 2 because it is the second iteration of the PC, which began back in 2015. And so this is my personal gaming rig. I care about it very deeply. And we will be upgrading this with a few things. I've got most of my parts. I'm still waiting on my CPU, which is going to be the Ryzen 7800X3D. So that's not here yet, so we won't be able to complete it tonight, but we'll be able to get a decent way into the teardown and cleaning section. So I feel like it's a good starting point for this series. Maybe it won't be quite as long of a series as some of the others now that we're doing time-lapse videos, but we'll see how it goes. And as you can see, what we're going to be putting into what will become Roach 3 is over here. So I won't show you all the parts tonight. We'll save that for tomorrow's video. But as you can see, we've got a 4090 that we're going to be putting in here. And that will replace the venerable 3090 that you can prominently see in the front window. So let's go over what I've got here. So most of this PC is from 2020-ish when I built last, which is, so like I said, this is Roach 2, circa 2020. Some of the parts are original. As you can see, this is the Corsair C70 Vengeance case. I have looked and looked and looked, and I just still don't have a case that I love more than this one. I love the military styling of it. I love that it's not over the top military, like it's kind of understated, like you get the cool reset and power buttons. It's painted green, but otherwise everything is pretty much like, you know, function over form. Like you've got these really nice handles to carry it with. You've got these really nice open clasps for the both side panels to get into. I love this case. And also, if anybody's seen this case before, you'll notice that I have a modded acrylic side panel. The stock variant has fan cutouts. There's a dude in Minnesota on YouTube who has a website, and he actually custom cuts acrylic for some Corsair cases, including this one. And back in 2015, when I first built this machine, I actually bought that and attached it to this PC. So, I guess let's open her up and just go do a quick overview of what we're keeping and what we're going to get rid of and upgrade. So let's take that off. Put that down. Okay. So my EVGA 850G2 power supply. This is original. This was back from 2015. We will be upgrading this to a 1000-watt power supply. So I've got that in the box over here. So this will be coming out. With the 4090 Founders Edition, technically it does say on the box you can get away with another 850 watt. But first of all, I mean, I'm a little worried about transients because this is an older power supply. This is now, this is an 8-year-old power supply. So what I'd really like to do is get this moved over and put it into ED, my home server, in the furnace room. So that's probably what's going to happen with this. Second thing is the power supply I bought is ATX 3.0. So it has the dedicated 12-pin graphics card cable, so I'm kind of excited about having that and not having to deal with this mess, because I'll tell you right now, I already opened the 4090 the other night, and this has 4 daisy-chained power cables in the adapter. So that's going to get real unsightly real fast. So I'm glad that we're going with a power supply that will just have one single cord for these. I guess we'll just keep moving on. Yeah, this is an RTX 3090 graphics card. I do have hopefully a buyer lined up for it, so we'll see how that goes. But that will hopefully help take the edge off of some of my upgrade costs. The CPU, obviously you can't see it because of the cooler, but the CPU is an i9-10850K that I got around Christmas time 2020. And so I've got a Noctua NH-D15 cooler for that with the optional chromax hoods. Really love this cooler. I think it's better than a lot of the AIOs out there. It's been a fantastic cooler for all the years I've had it. I think I got this 4 years ago, so I've had this cooler for quite a while now. Last year I did a fan upgrade, so a lot of these fans are not original. This Arctic, the top 2 Arctics, those are fans I added, I believe, about a year ago. These 2 case fans, this one and this one, are original, and the hard drive in there is original. But this will be coming out. I'm going to move this to an SSD I've got lined up. And so that's going to be coming out. I'm probably going to take the drive cages out tonight so that we'll have some better airflow. And then we won't have to worry about these interior fans. The optical drive bay is welded in or riveted in, so that's going to stay. But I'm fine with that because, first of all, I love my Blu-ray ripper. I use it for my Plex server, so I'm not going to get rid of that. And then this front fan controller, I think I'm going to finally be able to get rid of this. So I'm going to ditch this fan controller. As of right now, it's only running these two fans anyway. Everything else is plugged into my motherboard. So we're going to replace that fan controller with, what I've got coming from Amazon is actually a USB-C front panel 5.25 adapter. So there will be a couple USB-C ports here and a couple charge ports. And so that will connect to my, turn the light on here. That will connect to my USB-C front panel header, which you pretty much can't see because of the GPU and the cooler. But on the new motherboard, I'll actually be able to utilize that. Yeah, so as you can see, this case is the older design. It does not have a basement for the power supply. It does not have a basement for the drive cage. This is all just kind of out there in the open. So we're going to be doing that again. But this power supply that I'm getting is a little shorter. I didn't make a video about it because this was before my channel really got going. But last year when I did the fan upgrades and I put this 140 mil in the bottom, this screw, these two back screws are very angled because of this power supply being right up against it. And I know for a fact that my new power supply is a little bit shorter. So that'll finally have some clearance. So happy about that. Beyond that, I have a USB-C, or not USB, but USB Type A expansion card. My new motherboard has way more USB-C USB regular connectivity, so we won't need that anymore. Also, I've got a Sabrent SSD to PCIe adapter, so my Samsung 980 Pro SSD is in there. This motherboard only has 2 SSD slots, so I got that to give me a third SSD. So I've actually had an SSD that I've been sitting on wanting to install, and now I finally have a motherboard that's going to have 4 slots. So we'll be able to have all 4 SSDs on the computer at the same time, plus the SATA SSD that is replacing this drive. So my hope is I will have no mechanical, and I'll just have one SATA hard drive SSD that can just go in here. I'll just sticky tape it to that bay, so then we won't need any of this junk. This can all just be airflow. So that'll be the plan for that. What else? This mess of cables is because when I did the fan upgrade, I didn't have long enough cables to make it all work outside the case. I've since remedied that. I've got some inventory of extensions for both RGB and fan connectors now. In fact, I actually bought some Noctua red fan splitters. So if I need to use those on the new motherboard, I've got those ready. So yeah, I'm gonna set up a time lapse today. Tonight is going to be all about prepping. So we're going to strip the case and we're going to clean it. I'm going to take everything out. I'm going to take, well, not everything, but almost everything. I'm going to take the power supply out, the graphics card, the cooler, the drive cages, the drive, these fans. I'm going to take the front panel off. I'm going to clean all this because this hasn't been dusted in quite some time. I'm going to make sure to take the motherboard off because we're replacing the motherboard hopefully tomorrow. And then we're going to get this thermal paste cleaned up. I got some new coffee filters for that. So we'll be cleaning up the thermal paste on here. Basically just getting the case ready for the new build tomorrow. So without further ado, I'll get cracking and we'll start the time lapse. right, that's a wrap for tonight's teardown. As you can see, the case has been stripped basically down to nothing but fans and the optical drive. Everything came out fine. I didn't have any trouble, aside from maybe a little bit more thermal paste on the CPU than I thought I would have left. So it took me a little bit to get all that gunk cleaned off, but everything else came out fine. Just got to get everything cleaned up now, and we'll be ready to build tomorrow. So stay tuned to the channel. We're going to have another build video coming up pretty soon here, where I actually get my CPU and put the whole thing together. Also, remember, we're going to have a couple other build videos coming. We're going to have my brother coming over this weekend to build his 7800X3D system. So that's going to be a video series. And that's going to be a very ambitious build. So that will probably be multiple parts. And then a week or so after that, I'm going to be working on putting this motherboard into the server. So we're going to have a video series from that. And then one of my close friends is probably going to be building a PC for the first time. So we'll be using my GPU and my brother's motherboard CPU potentially to build a computer for him. That's still in the works, but it sounds like it's going to happen. So like I said, stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.